What happens when a brilliant, high-speed technological solution collides head-on with a crushing financial market? It's a paradox we see play out time and time again in the digital asset space. On paper, you've got a project that seemingly solves all the major hurdles of its industry. But then you look at the charts, and well, the reality tells an entirely different story.
Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this one because we are unpacking a truly fascinating case study today, the XPR Network. We're going to dive deep into the profound disconnect between XPR's highly impressive, some would even say revolutionary technology, and its sobering, incredibly turbulent price history. We'll look at the official claims, the hard data, and the algorithmic forecasts to figure out exactly where this project stands right now.
Section 1. The Blockchain Computer.
Okay, so before we even glance at a single price chart, we really need to understand the fundamental architecture of this network and what actually makes it unique. Because XRP doesn't just categorize itself as another blockchain, it calls itself a blockchain computer. Now, what does that actually mean? Basically, it's designed from the ground up as a decentralized operating system. While a lot of blockchains function primarily as a simple settlement layer, just a secure place to record that a transaction happened, XRP is built to offer the resources of an entire OS. It's got built-in tools aimed directly at speed, massive scalability, and absolutely crucially, user-friendliness. Let's look at the actual horsepower behind that claim, because these official specs are highly ambitious. First up, you have an incredible 4,000+ transactions per second, and that is paired with blazing fast half-second block times. Practically speaking, that means transactions are settled almost instantly. On top of that, XPR utilizes WebAssembly, or WASM, smart contracts, which the developers point out offer way better performance and flexibility compared to traditional environments. And finally, the whole thing features on-chain governance, meaning token holders get to directly propose and vote on network updates.
To really grasp why these technical choices matter to the everyday user, let's just compare XPR directly to the industry giant Ethereum. We all know that on Ethereum, users are forced to navigate those clunky 42-character hexadecimal addresses, and they have to pay volatile, often super expensive gas fees for literally every operation. XPR, on the other hand, does something completely different. It uses intuitive, human-readable account names, just like an @name on social media. And instead of paying gas fees, users stake system resources to enable a feeless transaction model. It is a night-and-day difference in user experience.
Section 2. The 99% crash.
But right here is where our story takes a very sharp turn. 99.23%. That is how far XPR has actually fallen from its historical all-time high of roughly 10 cents, which it recorded way back in April 2020. So despite operating as this lightning-fast, completely feeless blockchain computer, the actual market value of the token has been absolutely decimated over the past few years. So, how on earth do we make sense of this? Well, an analysis by BillionMX over on Binance Square put it pretty perfectly. They wrote, "This financial chasm, while daunting, also opens the door to a host of opportunities and challenges in search of the resurrection of value." And I think that perfectly frames the dual reality of XPR right now. Impartially speaking, a 99% drop is either a massive, blaring warning sign about the project's overall health and adoption, or, for the exceptionally bold, a rare buying opportunity if the network can somehow manage to reinvent itself and recover.
Section 3. Analyzing the technicals.
Which naturally leads us to ask, what exactly is the market doing right now? Well, if you're out there looking for consensus in the short term, you're just not going to find it. Take a look at these wildly diverging forecasts currently dominating the market. On one hand, you have sources like BN Crypto presenting a pretty bullish outlook, expecting a potential 10% monthly increase. But then, on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, models from Stock Invest are issuing stern warnings of a potential 20% decline. It perfectly illustrates the deep, deep uncertainty that's gripping traders right now. Let's ground this by looking at the raw data from CryptoLens and CoinCodex. The current price is hovering around a tiny fraction of a penny, roughly 0.0026. Interestingly, analysts are watching a key support level sitting just above that, right around 0.0031 to 0.0032, with critical resistance up near 0.0034. Meanwhile, the 14-day Relative Strength Index, or RSI, sits right at 45.16. What that means is the market is in a completely neutral position. It's neither definitively overbought nor oversold. Right now, it's a market holding its breath.
But when you step back and aggregate all the technical indicators together, a much clearer picture emerges of the uphill battle XPR actually faces. According to recent data, a staggering 71% of technical indicators are currently flashing bearish signals, compared to just 29% showing any bullish momentum. The sheer weight of market sentiment remains heavily slanted to the downside.
Section 4. Future Price Predictions.
So what happens if we zoom out to the long-term horizon? According to CoinCodex's long-term projection models, the algorithms do actually predict growth. They target around 0.0037 by 2026, and then climbing to slightly over a penny at 0.0119 by 2030. Looking even further, by 2040, the model projects 0.0174, and by 2050, it forecasts 0.0294. Now, while those numbers technically represent massive percentage gains from today's bottom barrel prices, we have to objectively point out that even decades into the future, these ceilings remain dramatically below that historic 10-cent all-time high.
And this brings us to the elephant in the room. It's the most common question in any crypto community, the massive $1 question. Will XPR ever reach $1? Addressing this head-on, the data is pretty definitive. According to CoinCodex prediction algorithms, XPR would need to gain tens of thousands of percentage points just to touch $1. Their models suggest that the absolute highest expected price is only 0.03030 cents, and again, that isn't expected until the year 2050. So purely based on current algorithmic modeling, a $1 XPR simply isn't in the cards.
So as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a final, somewhat provocative thought. Can undeniable technological utility eventually overcome a totally fractured market history? XPR is an incredible operating system. It's fast, it's feeless, and it's incredibly user-friendly. But its chart serves as a really stark reminder that in the crypto space, superior technology does not automatically guarantee financial success. It's a fascinating disconnect, and honestly, how it resolves is going to be a critical case study for years to come. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the data.